But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 6, 9, 7.
Doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Well, good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're taking your calls as we look at disclosure. Yeah, it's here. Disclosure Day came and went on Friday. And how do you feel? Different? The same? What's the level of frustration now? Okay, now I'm not going to go full poo-poo on this because I think there's some interesting things that were released. And it is, look, now I'm going to go full opposite of my cynical Mike on Thursday nights on Disclosure Eve, okay? Because I think this is a step in the right direction. Now, is it the best? I don't know. If you guys got a chance to look at it, please go check it out. Links will be in the description down below. But we got, a bunch of files, a bunch of videos, and, I mean, hey, look, that's cool. That's better than it's been forever. I mean, there's a lot of them that are really kind of bombshell type stuff, but that have been released previously, like humanoid entities or something, that was kind of released in a file that was never actually taken seriously. So, I mean, look, how do we look at this other than this is step one of a larger process, of a longer process, okay? And I know that's what the UFO types would say, that the people that are, deeply entrenched in this have been battling against for transparency forever. That's what they would say, and that's their take on that. But basically, for me, I kind of feel the same way. I feel the same way. And because, like I said, now we have this website. In case you guys didn't check it out, like I said, link is in the description below. It is called Pursue, is what they're calling this. But it is at war.gov/UFO / I'll just drop it in the chat. That way you can look at it yourself if you're interested. Okay, links are in the description down below. But here's the deal, right? Regarding this. It's called Pursue, PURSUE, and that's up here on the top, and it stands for Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP Encounters. pursue. Okay. All right. I like it. And it's got some videos, right? It's got some actual videos and some interesting photographs and some, like some of this stuff. It's got a ton of PDFs and, people are going through this, and there's some reasons to be excited because it seems like this is the first drop. Okay. But also don't forget we had a first drop of a different type of file recently. And that has been, sort of ended in this, let's call it an incomplete saga. Okay. And so it does make me wonder if this is some meat on the bone and maybe not the rest. I don't know. I don't know. And I think, as usual, I'll call myself in this space, in this particular case, optimistic. Okay. I'll put Cynical Mike in my back pocket for tonight. You can listen to the other show on Thursday night that came from that night if you want Cynical Mike. But I think looking at this now, I think we see something different. Okay. Meaning that hopefully we get some things that are sloppy and sloppy releases because they're in a hurry to get some information out. And if you've been paying attention to those other files, the Epstein files, they released a bunch of stuff they were probably real sloppy about that they should have, redacted or covered up and things like this. And some names got put out there. All right. And we're also told there's 3 million more files in that tranche of documents. Okay. So take that for what it's worth as far as transparency goes, but maybe they'll sort of rush this information out and we'll see some things that we're not supposed to see. Okay. I've got my, crossing my fingers on that. I got the hopeful hat on, and maybe, just maybe. Okay. And there's a lot of ways to look at this as usual. And that's the point of doing it this way. I could do a 20-minute video and just tell you what I think and then put it up on YouTube, and that's it. And you guys make what you want of it. We don't do that here. Instead, we talk amongst ourselves. Okay. Right here, live in the open, talking about these ideas and what we expect, not just from this, but from the future. And of course, looking at the past as part of it. For my part, there's no truth to be found here. Of course, my opinion plays. It is my world too. But I'm not here making claims of truth about anything. I'm looking at the information just like you are, what we're getting in news cycles, and how this fits into the larger context of a conversation. That's it. So if you're here for truth, you're in the wrong place, and that's that. Okay. Just all the disclaimers do apply. I'm not making claims about anything. Okay. Wildly speculating is really the space where this show lives in. And of course, as part of it, we do find some truth. Okay. But you, as always, you decide what that means. All right. Anyway, so back to this. Now, this is the wild part. Like I said, looking through some of this stuff, there was a particular video that had I'm not going to play the videos. You can check them out on your, because it is an audio show. It's a radio show. So I'm not going to play, right? It doesn't make sense. But there was one sort of a meandering little orb that seemed to be going through a windmill farm, stopped, turned 90 degrees, or, kind of stopped, turned 90 degrees, and then kind of went back through the windmill farm. And the usual suspects, Mick West and whatnot, were like, yeah, it's a balloon. That's the way a balloon would react in a wind farm. And, okay, like some of that stuff is, when you look at it, you go, all right, now this seems not very alien. This seems like, maybe they misidentified a flying object, an unidentified flying object, right? That's the whole point. That's the whole point of what this is. But anyway, so what is your take on this? From what you got to check out, if you didn't, like I said, the links are in the description down below. There's, again, 17 pages of these PDF files, all manner of things. There's some videos, there's some photographs. And supposedly this coming week, we're supposed to get 64 more videos from that Anna Paulina Luna. That's the word on the street, is that they're supposed to drop this next batch, which is supposed to accelerate what this looks like. Now, the internet, of course, has gone nuts in sort of deciphering these things, and you would expect this. Now, I'm going to just put this up front because I think this is important, and we talked about this on Thursday night when we were talking about Disclosure Eve. Shout out to UFO Jesus out there at Post Disclosure World on Twitter X at Post Disclosure. He says, and this is very, very, very a very troubled mind's take. Okay, this is what he said. My take on the first UFO release is that we're all LARPers. That's a live action role player. Christians are telling us that it's demons or that there are no aliens. Skeptics are proclaiming that this is all nonsense and won't amount to anything. Others say, as if it's gospel, that the UFO dump is just a distraction from serious issues. The UFO issue reveals what we believe has much more to do with our biases than a sincere search for truth. It's sad. Disclosure will teach us much about ourselves. You can count on that. And that's very much in line with what I've been saying for a very long time. And remember, the invoking that great song from Creedence Clearwater from 1969, Willie and the Poor Boys, talking about this exact thing, that you could show 1 million people the exact same thing, the exact same files, the exact same videos, the PDFs, all the things on this website, and you're going to get 1 million different takes. I think it's healthy, but also, by the way, we always are going to do this. We're going to polarize with our opinions, with our beliefs, and as a post-disclosure world here says, that's a heavy part of this. We're always going to sort of shrink back into our bias sections of where we came from. And look, I don't know if that's healthy. I think sometimes we should look at these things outside of our biases, because we end up telling the same story over and over again. I don't think it's helpful at all. But again, I'm just one guy with an opinion, just like many others, and I don't know those answers. But it does rattle me a little bit that this seems to be the case. No matter who you are out there, maybe what you were predisposed to think prior to the release of these documents is still what you believe, even after shown the documents. Okay. So again, I'm optimistic that we get something here that is not like you think coming up soon. Are we going to? I don't know. I hope so. I'll just say I hope so. But what do you think? Like I always say, it doesn't matter what I think. It is my world too, but it matters what you think because this is a conversation. If you want to be part of that conversation, give us a call at 702-857-6939, or of course you can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org and we'll put you on the show. Just put your hand up and we'll do that. We'll take calls in just a second. After a quick break, we're going to get a word from our sponsor. In this case, that will be Human Inspiration. Do not go anywhere. More Troubled Minds in just one moment. Be right back. In a world increasingly shaped by AI, human inspiration remains the beating heart of creativity. Alien Skin by Tremble, a hauntingly beautiful piano ballad, reminds us that while algorithms can mimic art, the raw, unfiltered emotions of human experience are irreplaceable. So here I sit, locked in my room again. Written and composed by Jesse Ian in collaboration with Todd Smith, this progressive masterpiece delves into the depths of internalized grief and the silent toll of artistic compromise. As AI reshapes our reality, Alien Skin stands as a testament to the timeless power of human emotion and the complex beauty that only true artists can evoke. Experience the haunting beauty of Alien Skin by Tremble and support human inspiration. Available now on iTunes. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Let us continue, shall we? I'm calling this Disclosure Day. Time to pursue the truth. You see what I did there. Now, as usual, this write-up is very good. Go check it out. It's quite a bit less on the, philosophical repercussions of this and the high strange musings. And it's sort of a look at what this actual document trench actually has and some of the takes that came out of it and what we can or might expect from the future. That's it. No super high strangeness. I think UFOs in and of themselves are high strange enough. So we'll go with that. Love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you know about it? Disclosure Day. It came and went supposedly Friday, and next week's supposed to be hotter and heavier, more aliens or something, more UFOs. What do you expect? Is the fact that I went from cynical Mike to optimistic Mike good? Or do you think it's bad? 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. James Salcedo, what's up, brother? Thanks for being patient. You're on Troubled Minds. How are you tonight? And go right ahead.
I'm okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Good. Yeah. I'm kind of with you in that I hope something good happens. I hope something good comes of this. I don't know how likely that is, or how likely I feel it is, but good is always a nice change these days. So, yeah, I guess that's my quick take on all this.
Yeah, it's okay to be optimistic, especially in. I mean, this is literally a 75 or 80 year cover up at this point from Roswell, and the obfuscation is totally real. But again, like sort of how we ended, shout out Robert at the end of that his call last time. He's like, "Well, what do you think it is?" Like I mentioned very clearly that there's something here. Otherwise, they wouldn't be obfuscating, as he very smartly stated. They wouldn't be, even offing people, as has been described in certain circles of this, even recently. Like, I'm not going to talk about that directly because, like I said, I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop a little bit. I don't know, but there's a lot in play, and it does make you wonder what the hell's going on and why the massive amount of energy that has gone into the cover up itself. That's the part that really kind of gets my goat with this. And so here we are, 75 or 80 years later, and we're getting some level of transparency. Now, is this going to be Project Blue Book Part 2? Maybe. I mean, we've kind of had these things come and go. 2017, the New York Times article, Tom DeLonge to the Stars Academy, the Lou Elizondo revelations of ATIP and AARO and all this other stuff. Look, we kind of been here before. But in this case, if we literally have a portal, a website from the government where they're going to continue to release these documents, I mean, I think it's worth checking maybe a couple times a day to see what is new in that space. Let me point this out too real quick. Somebody made a website, and I'll talk about this as well momentarily because I think this is important. ShowMeUFOs.com. I did not make this. I don't know who did. I saw somebody share it on X, and it's super cool. It has literally all the files, 25 videos, 14 images, 131 PDFs, and it's all of the drops sort of reconfigured in a searchable way that you can just go through and look at everything. You can literally click on a PDF, and it'll bring the thing up, and you can read right there on the thing. It's amazing. You could download it, click the source. It'll take you to the source link, which goes back to that AARO site or the Department of War site. Anyway, I'll talk about that momentarily because this type of stuff is really important when we get sort of citizens cataloging this information and putting it in one place so that it can't be obfuscated, so that it can't be taken down, it can't be removed from the public zeitgeist. And so this type of stuff is very, very good in my opinion. That's why I want to point this out. Whoever did this, great work. ShowMeUFOs.com. It is not my website. I did not make it. Do check it out, though, and it is a very great way to look at this information without having to go through all the, government, when the government makes websites, just like they do everything else. It's kind of horrific. Anything else, James? Sorry about that, to cut you off, but there's a ton of stuff here. I don't know if you saw this website. I'll link it in the chat as well. But man, we're getting information, which is good, but how far is this going to take us? And I don't know. Did you hear anything or see anything from this batch that kind of made you go, wait a minute now?
Well, it's funny. So I was just on Anything Is Possible, our friend Ricky's show, and he found a link to all the videos like in one place or in one, I don't know, file, or I don't know how it all works. Anyway, so we were watching that towards the end of his show, and I do think I am looking forward to seeing what everyone can pull from this because, the more people we can have looking at all this stuff, the better chance we have of finding things within what they're sharing that may lead to other things, may lead to actual information regarding what all this stuff is. And some of the videos, I mean, on the one hand, it's funny because there's so much that's blacked out on a lot of the videos, which I understand, sources and all this and that. But there's one video that I saw that Ricky and I were watching where a point in the video, a redacted box, a black box, appeared in the middle of the screen, in the middle of the video, and then faded away. So really is curious. We were laughing about it and joking about it, like, wouldn't that be ironic if that was the actual alien UFO non-human craft that was being hidden in that case for whatever reason? And we were joking about it, but I do think I'm looking forward to seeing what people can find out and figure out from all this because with my own case, I'm legally blind, so I literally can't be watching all these videos closely and looking at all these documents. So if something does come out of this, that'd be amazing. It's just I don't know if it'll ever really come from any official sources, and that's sort of my problem with all this. But if something does come out, and it appears a lot more interesting than anything before, then yeah, I'm excited for that.
which is where I'm at. And I think, like I said, when you look at some of this stuff, I'll play some of these on the screen. It's easier from that other website, showmeufos.com. Like I said, I'm not being paid to shill it. I just think it's great work. And this is exactly what we should be doing as, the idea of a citizen journalist, be able to kind of keep this stuff in the mind's eye and look at truly anomalous stuff and decide ourselves. And look, I don't even know if there's going to be a way to, without additional information. You notice it's all blacked out on here. The telemetry information and the radar readings and all the stuff that you would expect from a video like this, it's all blacked out. Okay. So we don't know where this happened. It's kind of the backdrop of a night sky. And, I mean, so what can you get from this without knowing how far away the camera platform was from those lights, without having the actual coordinates? It's just, like I said, it's limited information. And I've always said, I've been saying this for a really, really long time. And you guys know that have been listening to me forever, is that this particular place ends up with, we just need more data. We need the raw data. Like, videos are great. Okay. Let's see what kind of weird stuff the government has in their archives. But also, if we don't have the telemetry data and all the rest of the coordinates and the times and all the rest of this, then how can we even say this was a satellite? Or, you know what I mean? You need to be able to rule that stuff out, the prosaic stuff, or else we're just looking at, lights in the sky and guessing once again. And, which is kind of unacceptable, but like, I get why they do it. I've said this before, but it still doesn't mean I have to like it. And anyway, tons of good stuff here. Like I said, I'll just kind of pop through some of these videos and play them as we go. Just to kind of give you something to look at here if you guys haven't seen some of these. But it is on this website, like I said, showmeufos.com. Whoever made the website, great work. Keep up that great work. This is the type of stuff we need so we can all keep this, like I said, in our mind's eye as we move forward, and even be able to kind of look at this and say, well, look, they removed 3 videos, which happened a lot with the Epstein files, by the way, is they release a bunch of stuff and then a bunch of it would disappear again. And it's like, wait a minute now. But the internet's too smart for that. There's people that instantly download that and archive everything as soon as it drops. That way, once they redact it or try and take anything back, it's out there anyway. So keep up the good work, whoever's doing this stuff. A couple minutes left if you got anything else, James. What else you got on this or anything else? And have you seen any amazing lights in the sky?
No, not for a while. Not since the whole series of blue lights that I saw years ago now. And those had conscious like a presence attached to them. So I've told those stories before about how I saw all those. But not for a while. But I do think I love that post that you found on X Twitter. Regarding the whole LARPing thing. I think, and what you were talking about with biases and all that, I definitely think everyone has biases. What's funny about this to me is now my bias does lean toward all this stuff is anomalous, even though I'm sure there's satellites, there's planes and drones and all that. So, but also it's just, I don't know, that's part of why I'm not sure how much we'll ever get that's going to be really that interesting, because it's just, whenever there's any kind of release from any big organization, there's always going to be an agenda somewhere. And that's why I always have a hard time really getting really excited for any of this stuff. But I'm trying, as we've been saying here so far.
As well as I am trying as well. Like I said, every time it comes from the government, I'm cynical. Okay, as I'm standing in the line at the DMV, just really mad that this whole thing is going on. I can't help but think about the UFO files. Or wait, I mean the other way around. As I'm pouring through the UFO files, I can't imagine the next time I have to stand in line at the DMV. You get my point. It's if it's from the government, I think we should have a healthy dose of skepticism, period, no matter what. Partisan stuff aside, from both sides, you should be very skeptical of whatever they're telling you, because everything's so Orwellian. You know, this is not a political show. I'm not going to talk about that, but there are thousands of examples. In any case, what do you know about Disclosure Day? It supposedly happened on Friday. Supposedly it's going to continue to accelerate. Tim Burchett has said publicly that, well, not only is this a good start, it's going to continue and it's going to accelerate and blow your mind further and further and further. Well, if that's actually the case, I'm looking forward to it. Strap in. Is 2026 weird enough? Yeah. Love to hear your thoughts on this. Disclosure Day happened Friday. It is now Sunday. One weekend through, and what do you expect of the news cycles, by the way? This is one of the important parts of this for my mind. is how will this be treated by the mainstream media come Monday? Is it right back to Iran, back to gas prices, this type of stuff? Or do you think they go deep and they start doing their own investigative journalism, real stuff, and finding things we'd never dreamed? Love to hear your thoughts at 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Be right back. More on the way. We got more from James and your calls as well. Nobody on the line if you want to jump in here. More Troubled Minds on the way. Be right back.
You're tuning into Troubled Minds, the show where mystery knows no bounds. Stay tuned for revelations that'll keep you questioning the fabric of reality.
We have reviewed the files. We have reviewed the files. We cannot make a determination on the nature of what was observed. 38 degrees north. Pentagon coordinates. War.gov. The border of the map. They said flying discs over Oak Ridge. They said lights above the moon. They said orange spheres releasing smaller spheres over the western states at 2 a.m. We cannot explain. We cannot explain. We cannot explain what we cannot explain. The door is open now. The door is open. Not what's inside, but that there is a door. We have been unresolved. We have been unresolved since 1947. We are unresolved. The files are open. Draw your own conclusions. Draw your own conclusions.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds radio network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting, and of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're taking your calls as we talk disclosure. It happened, didn't you know? Friday was the day. Did you feel any different? Pinch yourself. Ioxy in the chat says, there's aliens living in the ocean and I still can't pay my rent. Yeah, well said, by the way. Very well said. The argument that the ultimate shiny object, and I've made this argument myself many, many, many times, is the UFO. The UFO mind space, because it is one of the most pressing and important questions philosophically ever. Now, to a dreamer like myself, it's easy to say, take some liberties and just say, you know what? Mathematically, they got to be out there. If they got to be out there with high technology, then they probably know about us. If they know about us, maybe, just maybe, they came to visit once or twice. Or maybe, just maybe, they're still here. Now, I know that's a lot of liberties. That's way up the if cliff, as I like to call it. However, it doesn't quite matter. If you look at the surge in the zeitgeist and this interest, it's certainly a space that we need to confront. Whatever that looks like and whatever that means to you. Taking your calls tonight as we talk disclosure. James, anything to add? And then we'll go to the Robert. Welcome back, my man.
I think there can be different things going on at the same time. You know, it's funny, you were just talking about that if cliff. It's an if cliff until you had an experience. Then it's kind of different. But also, I think there can be the shiny object of the UFO, the idea of the UFO, and anomalous things happening. And they may not always be the same thing. Especially with all this we've heard for years that there's not really any evidence of anything anomalous in the sky. It's all explained away. And yet the interest is still there and the fascination is still there, to the point where now we had these videos released and documents released and more to come. So if there's nothing really there, then why any of this? So, but yeah, great topic, and looking forward to talking when there's time later on.
You got it. If you got something that comes to mind, just butt right in and let me know. We'll get you in here, as you know. 702-857-6939. That is James. You know him, you love him. Salcedo Paranormal, the paranormal expert of Troubled Minds, the glue of the show. We'll get back to him momentarily. Let's go to the Robert in Pennsylvania. 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show just like this. The Roberts. El Roberts. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and James. How are you, sir? Go right ahead.
Good evening.
Well, good evening. I love it.
One of the things that occurred to me while I was watching all these videos, seemed to me like you remember biology class? You remember looking through a microscope and seeing amoeba and paramecium and single-celled little critters darting back and forth?
I sure do.
A lot of that looked like that to me.
It kind of did, didn't it? As usual. And like I pointed out, when you're talking about something in the sky like that, scale is everything. Like actually positioning, scale, like distance, like having some level of between here and there to do the math in your head. Because I mean, there's that infamous place where there's the ranch in Northeast Utah where they had this thing fly by, this many 100 miles per hour or whatever. That's impossible. And then you zoom in and it's such high definition that you can actually see the wings on the fly flapping, because they thought it was way back there, but it was like way close. I mean, that parallax is a pain in the ass, isn't it? And this is the type of stuff that, like you said, at scale, in a very tiny space, this could be amoebas on a slide. And I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah. And what do? They dart back and forth as they go, and they find their food. And I think that I'm not saying that UFOs don't exist, because I actually believe they do, right? But I think some of this is atmospheric creatures who are darting back and forth to, when they see a nice morsel.
Ooh. Is it they're here to eat us? It comes from the sky?
Not us. There's other living things up there that they eat. It's just like in the ocean. All right, where everything eats each other. I think that there could be complete up in the atmosphere. There can be a bunch of living organisms. All right, that feed off of one another, that fly around like that and dart like that. I mean, that would explain why they don't kill themselves, because they can dart 90 degrees looking for a meal and not suffer anything.
Okay, I can buy that. We'll go with that. And look, as usual, look, when you look at these files too, kind of look at it with an open mind. Just because something seems, instantly laughable or prosaic, think in terms of what Robert is describing here. Like maybe if we're truly dealing with something anomalous, you got to kind of keep your mind open in that space to be able to recognize when there might be something worth sort of delving into, or a little deeper dive. Even though, again, like I said, we're missing so much information when it comes to distance and all the rest of this, the parallax stuff. But also, maybe, just maybe, you spot something in one of these slides or one of these videos or whatever it is, or artist renderings, whatever the hell they got, maybe you spot something that nobody thought of yet. And maybe it's an angle, an investigation angle. Who knows?
Yeah. And I'm going to bring up, I think we shouldn't look at this first tranche as insignificant. It's, they're doing what they did with the Epstein files. They're doing a slow rollout. All right. And you're right. They're probably going to keep some things to themselves. But from what I understand, from what the Congresswoman said, the next tranche will really blow our minds. The next tranche that's coming out. And I'm thinking about what Burchett said about what these skiffs that he went into and the things that he learned there has left him in a situation where he has trouble sleeping at night.
Yeah, that echoes what Lou Elizondo said, right? When they said, if everybody knew what you know about this, how would they feel waking up tomorrow morning? And he would say somber. That was his thing. He was like, you'd kind of have a somber mood to you. I mean, why though? I think if it was proved with beyond the shadow of a doubt that there are extraterrestrials here, I see no reason to be somber at all. I mean, unless they're, like running the government. I mean, then it goes from somber to alarm instantly. But you get what I mean. Well, I think people like me and you would be stoked. We'd be like, hell yeah. What do they look like? How long have they been here? What do they want from us? Like, there's so many questions to ask as part of it. But, certainly somber is not one of them.
Yeah, well, that would indicate to me that he saw things revealed to him in those skiffs that made him terrified.
Yeah, that's the implication.
Right. If it was just, they look like this and they're this and they are here and that sort of stuff, I can't see why he would have trouble sleeping unless it's something that caused a deep fear within him.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Now,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Just going to say, so the question for you then, so you went through, watched a bunch of the videos, read some of the documents, and you and me are kind of in agreement that it is a little underwhelming to start, but it is a start. So we've got the website, like I said. I'm hoping that they drop something by accident and go, okay, just release just at speed, get this stuff out there. There's a lot of distraction, a sort of space to be had. Let's just get it out, and then the populace will spend their time running circles talking about these things instead of the other things, right? The distraction from the distraction from the distraction from the distraction. But it's funny when you put it that way. And shout out Night Stalker said this in the past as well, that if everything's a distraction from a distraction, like this UFO space entirely is kind of irrelevant. It's a moot point. And I'm adding that to what he said previously. But I don't know. I think it is a good start. And I hope that they're going to drop some stuff that they don't want to drop. And maybe it'll open a zipper that, or once the toothpaste comes out, you can't put it back in the tube. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't think they'll do it on purpose.
What kind of feeling would you have? Would it be shrug or fear if you were to learn that these aliens have been around for, thousands of years, that what's out there, that they created us, that our bodies are nothing but containers, and that they're the ones that put us through a situation of being recycled over and over again through reincarnation. That's out there. I've heard some serious people talking about that way.
Yeah, if that's the case, it would make a lot of sense, to be honest, because of how strange the human experience is, how bizarre sort of our dogma cycles that I always talk about are locked in so heavily that we would kill each other for them or die for them. Like, it would make a ton of sense, because it would seem as if, and John Keel has said this, that there was a controller aspect to whatever these entities are. And I don't think he named them specifically, but had some ideas. But I mean, yeah, it would make sense to me, to be honest. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. But it would kind of lead me down the line of shout out Algorithm over there on Rumble. He said this the last time, so how do we set up a resistance and spray paint the V for victory on the wall, right? You guys ever saw that 80s the 80s TV show? But I mean, because this is what would happen, right? Because suddenly there would be an undue influence over human behavior at scale and through technology. So how the hell do you stop that? Really becomes the question, right?
If that were to be the case, if that were finally out there that was the case, would that cause you disturb you? Would it cause you fear?
Let's say I'd have a bellyache probably for a few days, but after that, I would be like, all right, well, I mean, if this is that new reality and this is true, I would do my damnedest to verify it for myself. But yeah, I think you're right. There is, if something like that is the case, and we are like zoo animals or something, then absolutely there's a reason to be disturbed. I'll grant you that 100%.
Yeah, and also part of that, what's out there is that, along with what I've just talked about, is that they created religions in order to control us, to prevent us from killing each other. Well, that really worked well.
It seems like it backfired, actually.
Yeah, and that Jesus was a hybrid, and they created him. And well, I'm not going to go into that, but that, as a matter of fact, that particular, if that was that situation with Jesus, if they were to disclose something like that, that would put me in a real difficult situation, because that would be so profound. And I can see, if that was the case, that why Burgess would have difficulty sleeping.
If it's something so profound to that level that we are under control of an alien species, yes, I would at least have a stomach ache. It would cause an unbelievable amount of stress. And maybe when we talk about the term ontological shock, maybe that's what it is. Because I think a benign sort of just kind of passerby alien, people be like, wow, that's kind of cool. What else do we know about them? But if it got deeper and deeper and deeper, and there was a control aspect to it, and they've been here forever, and they've been heavily involved in how humans act and whatnot, I mean, then I think we'd have a whole different ball of wax, and I think that's exactly what you're getting at.
And one more thing that might cause Burgess to have difficulty sleeping is if the ultimate answer is that they're from the future, and that's what we're going to look like in the future, and they're coming back here to try to stop us from doing something that causes this kind of mutation.
Yeah, it has been said. Go ahead.
Do you notice that that our heads are getting bigger with each generation and our bodies smaller?
I hadn't, but I will do some research.
Okay.
I think I am perfectly proportioned, sir. How dare you suggest otherwise?
Well, I'm talking about each generation. And I'm not talking about your present generation. I'm about the generation, a couple generations from you. All right. Also, one last thing I'd like to mention. You remember how Obama was asked about what aliens are real? And he basically said they are. And then he backtracked it because Trump said he was releasing classified information.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
For me, that Trump's basically was saying that he knows, and this is classified. But what Vance did, when Vance talked about it, he said, well, he thought they could be demons. Okay? There's no question in my mind that Vance knows the truth about this. All right? The last thing he's going to do is release classified information. So he's going to divert it to demons. All right? I think it's demons. All right? Because he'd be no better than Obama if he were supposed to say, yes, there are, releasing classified information. So he'd have to cover it up. And that's what he did. That's my opinion.
Fair enough. I'll agree that they're both. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. You were the best. You were the best. Great points all. And I don't know. Let's strap in because, like I said, maybe just maybe they'll make a mistake and tip their hand on something they shouldn't. So pay attention. Keep these websites open, on your devices, and refresh from time to time and see what they drop, and then redact, because that is going to be the anchor of truth.
Friday.
Every Friday. There you go.
Every Friday. That means that on Sunday, every Sunday, Troubled Minds must come on with a evaluation of what hit on Friday.
There you go. Every single Friday, every single Sunday. Strap in. Things are about to get weird. Robert, you're the best. Appreciate the call. Thanks for.
Thank you very much. Good night. I'll sit back and hear everybody else talk about it and what their opinions are.
You were the man. You know him, you love him. The Roberts in Pennsylvania. Please give him a follow. troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down. It is under The Robert, under T. That's his mentor name, his writer name. Go check out his book. It says visit the link there. Take it to Amazon. It's called Stories from a Fractured Mind, the Robert Collection. I read it. It's great. You can buy it tonight on Amazon. Get it tomorrow. Let's help our friends. We're talking Disclosure Day tonight. Time to pursue the truth. Now, Friday, the documents dropped. Videos, images, PDFs. I don't see anybody in the streets screaming, right? Like no War of the World situation going on. So what's next? 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. And of course, that's rhetorical. I don't know what's next. If I did, I'd just tell you. I'd just open up the crystal ball and be like, well, guess what happens next Friday, guys? I don't know. Joe in Florida. You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and James. How are you, sir? Go right ahead.
I'm okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so kind of adding to what Robert said. The video that I saw of that star that was moving around, first thing that popped in my head was Star of Bethlehem. And as per the last show, if they really did talk to clergy, just kind of weird. And then hearing about Burchett, whoever that is, being upset. But I thought about Carter. There's rumors of Jimmy Carter that when he wanted to release them, he went back to the office, or wherever it was that he was at, and wept. And that, to hear that type of emotion, you know, from Carter to now to certain things, and it seems like some leaders have been told that. And also,
we got to cut out. Also, it's funny, the autocomplete in my head heard Chat GPT. Chat GPT.
I heard John.
John.
I heard John. I think he was going to mention Kennedy.
Oh, okay. Oh, JFK. We lost you. We lost you, Joe. So I'm going to keep talking, and as you pop in, just cut me off and continue. Yeah. That Jimmy Carter thing, by the way, I had heard that, and as usual, right? Like, you don't know how true that stuff is. Like, we were told, what was it? Eisenhower disappeared for a day where he supposedly met with the aliens, and his schedule said he went to a dentist, an unscheduled dentist appointment or something. I mean, this type of stuff has been going on forever. The sort of mythology behind the mythology of what is real and what is not. And of course, much of it, in my opinion, is disinformation, but, or, just people making stuff up. That's a fact. It happens a lot. Still happens a lot. People lie for absolutely no reason. You don't even need to, benefit monetarily or anything. People just lie. It's just weird. It's not my bag, but I mean, whatever. Like, you got to kind of take everything with a grain of salt, everything you hear, right? The Edgar Allan Poe, believe nothing of what you hear and only half of what you see. Joe, if you're there, test. Maybe maybe they're onto him. Maybe the Men in Black are dragging him out right now. Let's hope that's not the case. Let me see these views on this page. There we go. 2.2 thousand views. Yeah. I mean, there's some interesting things here, but like I said, once it kind of goes through the analysis space of the internet, a lot of this stuff just gets shot down. So, I mean, what does it mean? Like I said, am I impressed? At this point, it's hard to impress me when it comes to anomalous things, because I am the master of the mysterious, as has been mentioned and rumored. But looking at this, I'm like, mildly interesting. Let's see something cool, right? Let's see it. Let's see a craft land and beings get out. Huh? Yeah, surely they have it. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Look, we're talking conspiracy tonight, not just the conspiracy of everything, but the conspiracy of disclosure. Thursday night, we did Disclosure Eve because they supposedly released all the stuff on Friday. They did. They released some stuff, but not all the stuff. But we've got the website, which again is right here. You can find it at war.gov/UFO. It is under the Department of War. Yeah, right. Don't get me started on that. But you get the idea. There's some stuff here. But do you expect it to be any deeper? Or let me read this by John Greenwald Jr. And this is, so Kevin Sorbo, don't know who this is, some guy on X, says, what am I looking at here? If you can watch the video, if you're seeing it, there's like a little weird star thing, the Star of Bethlehem that Joe was talking about. There's that particular video. It's unclear that, some people have said there's a parachute that comes into the frame. And so there's some smoke and some parachute and some other stuff, right? And other people have done a counter take on it saying, no, that's not smoke or that's not a parachute. That's sort of a lens refraction of the heat signature or something. I mean, I don't know, whatever. I'm not a forensics guy here, but you see all the people looking at things through a particular space. But anyway, so this video is linked in the description down below if you want to check it out. It is wild. And they say it was debunked, 2 years ago or something and had already been released. But then John Greenwald Jr. says this. You guys know him from the Black Vault, doing God's work, as I always say. We would have barely a UFO trail if it wasn't for this guy making this his life's work. But, quote, he says this on Twitter X. That's exactly their plan. Release stuff like this with the aura of transparency. And in the end, you just squint your eyes and laugh it off. Meanwhile, I guarantee they have a lot better stuff they won't be releasing or even referencing. Joe, I think you're back. Are you there? Nope. Yeah, who's Kevin Sorbo? Anybody know who Kevin Sorbo is?
I should be back.
Yeah, got you.
I don't know why it jumps from my USB mic 1 to Realtek. I don't know why. It just jumps randomly. I don't know why. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good. Go ahead.
Where'd you guys lose me at?
Chat GPT. Or no, you were talking about what was it? JFK, I think. Was that the next line you were hitting at?
Yeah, not JFK, but like Jackie Gleason and Carter and all that. But I'll just skip it out because you're coming to the top of the hour. Just in general, if something's been watching us this long, like I've said on the Thursday show, if they watch this long and they haven't helped us, it's pretty ridiculous. Especially if we're their creation. On top of that, especially if we're their creation, it's like they got to send, it's like they have to crash a UFO to put us in the second round of the Running Man. That's what I feel like. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I watched that movie yesterday and, spectators. So are they spectators? We've said that, yes. But man, really, you're going to let us sit here tortured for that long? It's just kind of disgusting. So that's all.
Yeah, we will keep an eye on this, as you know, as Robert said. We're going to definitely peek when they drop new stuff and see if they do. See if they by accident drop something they shouldn't. And I think that's where disclosure is going to come from. If it's out there to be had, I think the government's going to screw it up because they do a fair deal of screwing stuff up.
They do, and I'm curious too. I didn't make the connection with this yet, but on Friday you have that. On Friday you have the gold. You have the gold statue, and pastors worshiping the statue at Mar-a-Lago, all of those weird ceremonial things. Maybe they are trying to usher this in as a god. Maybe. And maybe it is. Maybe it's the Ezekiel that we saw out of the book. Who knows? And that would kind of be scary. Because if it really is the God of the Old Testament and not Jesus, the God of the Old Testament was a vengeful bastard. So are we going to be out for suffering again? It seems like we already are.
Well said. Amen. The retribution of the Old Testament. Let's hope it's not upon us. You're the best, Joe. Appreciate the call. Thanks for fixing that mic thing. Yeah, I don't know what it is. You know how I fixed mine? I just unplugged all the rest of the mics. That's how I did it. Okay.
Well, again, I unplugged it, plugged it back in, but for some reason it jumps. I don't know. It was weird. It jumped this time. So, but anyway, have a good night, guys. See you. I probably won't see you Tuesday. Heading to Hawaii. It's going to be an eventful month. It already has been. Wish everybody well. And don't get butt probed. And don't be abducted.
You were the best. Appreciate the call. Travel safe. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great night. Joe in Florida, you know him, you love him, good friend for a long time. Always with the humor there. We're talking disclosure. Did it happen? Is it going to happen? Is it possible for an honest disclosure to come from any government of the world? 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. More from James coming up. We got Derek the Night Stalker, Daryl in New York, and your calls as well. Do not go anywhere. More Troubled Minds on the way.
This is Troubled Minds. Your host, Michael Strange, the master of the mysterious, is here to guide you through the shadows of the unexplained.
back to Troubled Minds. All the places, all the things, troubledminds.org. Come join the Discord. Come give us a call. Talk about these wild ideas. 702-857-6939. Hey, look. Disclosure Day. It came and went. Friday. Or is this going to be instead the ultimate summer of saucers leading up into the 250th anniversary of the United States of America on the 4th of July? Wouldn't that be a hell of a disclosure day if the aliens came down and landed on the White House lawn in protest? Wouldn't that be something to see? Anyway, it seems like every year we kind of lead through, spring and into the summer, and everybody's outside more because it's nice. And people start seeing things, right? It's usually Bigfoot season, and then it's usually the summer of saucers comes after that. And then, right? And then we all kind of end up huddled in a blanket next to some radiator somewhere because it's cold outside and you stop looking at the stars. It's weird how we have seasons of high strangeness even, and we've talked about it often on the show. But in this case, we have the powder keg ritual of the 250th anniversary of the United States, July 4th. So is this going to be the penultimate summer of saucers ever? The biggest, the greatest, the largest, unmatched. James, anything to add? And we'll go to Derek the Night Stalker.
Well, it's funny how I never thought of this until now, but all these quotes about all these people being or saying that if we found out about any of this being real, it'd be somber, it'd be scary or whatever. In a way, yes. If you have an experience, sometimes it can be a positive one, sometimes it can be a negative one. Some people have both. I've had both. So, in a way, yeah. It's something to keep in mind. But does it occupy all my thoughts all the time? No. It may seem like that because I do end up bringing up a lot of these experiences on these shows, including the possible alien abduction experience that I mention often. But when I'm not doing these shows, I'm not always thinking about it. And there's plenty of shows where I don't talk about that. So, but yeah, I guess that's where I was thinking about, though. I think I have more, but I can't seem to put any of it to words. So I'll stop for now.
Words are hard. That's okay. Hang on to those. The thought will come to you, and we'll get back to you. Love to hear your thoughts tonight. We're talking disclosure. Did it happen on Friday? Or is this the lead-in to the greatest ritual of all time? 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show just like this.
What's going on, Brutus?
Derek in Massachusetts, the Night Stalker. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds. How are you tonight? Go right ahead. Tons here. Have you been watching? Have you been watching the skies? Have you been watching the interwebs? What do you know about disclosure?
It is pretty wild. I haven't been I haven't dove into the videos myself, but I've just been sharing on my Night Stalker page that I barely use. Just all the mainstream, like the New York Times, CNN, ABC News, all my local Boston stations, like obviously Fox News and everything. But all the if you follow any mainstream news sites on your feeds, you're going to be seeing this news. So to that extent, it is a pretty big deal. But I posted in some of my movie groups, I'm in honor of the big UFO day today. What's your favorite UFO movie? Yada yada. Just my movie groups, and a bunch of them were just like, what UFO news? What happened today? What happened today? So I'm not sure if we overhype it or underhype it because we're into it, or I don't know what the deal is, but it definitely seems weird for sure. I got this is a extremely busy night, a few call outs, but this is a rare one where I was able to take some notes before the show started. So I'm a little bit extra prepared, but maybe just prompt me one more time real quick just to get my bearings, but I got to rattle off a bunch of stuff.
Right on. Looking forward to it. Yeah. So basically we're at Disclosure Day has happened. We've been talking about this since 1947. Of course, many of us weren't born then, but you get the idea. It's been a 75 or 80 year cover up at this point. This has been teased since 2017 in the New York Times article. Tom DeLonge, To the Stars, Lou Elizondo, David Grusch, all kinds of people fit into this conversation. Stephen Greer, even though, this is the first time recently in recent memory where they actually have a process happening and underway where they're releasing information, not just PDFs, actual documentation. They're releasing videos and photographs of anomalous things. Now, the thing has been the instant feedback has been that a lot of this stuff has been released already, but also some of it hasn't. So what do we expect? It's going to get weird, I think, but what do you know about it?
Yeah. My first instinct when they started posting, there was the same kind of general thing. I was like, oh, really? This is what they were talking about? This is why all the pastors were meeting up saying they were going to shatter the religious paradigm of everything? Like, really? This is it? And then it immediately goes into, this is just the beginning. It's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm like, okay, okay, whatever.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I'm just going to kind of go through my trajectory of like how these kind of were laid out for me this weekend. But last night I was, or the other night I was listening to the Bob Lazar Rogan from a few months ago, the most recent one. And that's when he touched on like the idea that humans are containers and stuff. And real quick, my hot take on that is just that that's immediately construed as they want our soul, and the Greys are after our soul. These aliens are after our soul, and that might be a product of like the religious paradigm that we've been living in the Western world. But it fits more into the things we talk about a lot. If they want our vessel, and it's more so, and it fits in with the MK Ultra stuff. It fits in with all the Stranger Things stuff. It fits in with all the walk-in stuff, the possession stuff. The Disclosure Day movie potentially, which I'll get to in a minute, that they're trying to, with trauma, push us out of our body, shatter our psyche, whatever means to crack our psyche, so they can use us as vessels. So mass invasion or invasion via mass possession is something we've talked about on the show for a few years now, and that's in pop culture. It's in a bunch of stuff. So they could be after our souls, but I think the container aspect is more of that they want our vessel, but they want our physical form to inhabit into this realm. But then he was talking about the metal and stuff, and how it's like malleable and it won't like crush him. If it, like the whole ship was kind of put on top of him to show that it wouldn't crush his body and stuff. And it got me thinking like of the consciousness-based thing, and maybe this potential, like if we are dealing with something that's being manifested, maybe there's some type of like weird thought matter that we don't really understand. Some type of like metal that's formed after it's conjured up, and what that would do, and that like has some kind of like consciousness limitations. Like it won't kill you if you're working on that kind of. It won't crush you because it's molded to shape the container of your mind, so to speak. So that's what I was in thought matter. He called it a living force field and stuff. And then the other day I started watching Taken, the Steven Spielberg miniseries about basically like a 40-year history of alien abductions and stuff, starting with Roswell. I'm on episode 5. It's like 10 episodes, 90 minutes each, from the Sci-Fi Channel. And at one point, they're trying to like back engineer the crap. The first few episodes, they're still in 1947 through 1950 and stuff. They're trying to reverse engineer the stuff, but the physicists having a tough time. So they bring in this German physicist, and he's like, "Oh, you're using the wrong engine." Or real quick, like when they talk about the remote viewing programs and Operation Stargate, it always gets lumped in with the UFO stuff. What does that mean to you? Like I was thinking about that the other day too. This is part of the synchronicities. Like why is that tied to UFOs? Just first instinct. Because I was thinking about the other day and I didn't have a good answer for it. Do you have a good one? Why
Operation Stargate. Yeah, remote.
Yeah.
That Stargate.
Yeah, like why is that? Like remote viewing programs and stuff, and like the psychic spy stuff. Why is that so much tied into the UFO programs and everything? Just top of your head, I didn't have a good answer.
I think the modern lore is that it's because the UFO is sort of our mind. We can pilot it with our mind, that telekinesis aspect, or the able to kind of connect into something that is non-physical. And then so in the sense of a UFO being not nuts and bolts, but a vehicle of consciousness, I think that's why those spaces come together. That's how I would describe it in a pinch.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And in the show, they were having trouble. They were like, the physicists are struggling with this. They've been working on it for years, a decade at this point or whatever, and they don't know what it is. And the physicists, like German physicists, oh, because they're using their own engine or something. And like, what's the engine? They show a gray alien video of like it blowing up somebody's mind with their mind and stuff. And it's like, you need somebody with a like advanced psychic mind, like a powerful mind. The mind is the engine. The consciousness is the engine. And he's like, well, what should we do? Wait for it to just sit around, wait for another one to crash, and hopefully there's a body in there? He's like, yes, you could, or you can find another powerful mind. And then it gets into like the little kids, the kids with psychic powers and stuff, and they're chasing these kids down and everything. And it's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. But you just nailed it. I mean, that's what I was thinking about. And then more directly with this stuff here. So just the vibe of it, I asked the AI to give me a bunch of the different reactions and stuff. to like the different official reactions from people in government. And one of the first ones it gave was Hexeth, being like, these files are hidden behind speculation, yada, yada. It's finally time for the American people to see it for themselves, yada, yada. Like, it's been hidden time for this great revelation, which that's what an apocalypse is. So we're dealing with these many different apocalypses on different fronts, potentially a great war, potentially aliens, potentially AI, but just the great revelation, this great paradigm shifting moment is happening on many fronts. So there's an apocalyptic motif to that. But also it just seems like magical. It seems like, ta-da, like putting a curtain over something and being like, you can't see what's under the curtain, and then unveiling it. Ta-da! Like, it's been hidden and now it's revealed, and that's kind of the vibe. Like, that's what is being stressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, abracadabra. Now you all have seen a magic trick, and congratulations. And I got to tell you, as you're talking, I'm scrubbing through these files a little bit. Some of these straight up look like balloons, guys. 100%. They're like bobbing in the wind like a balloon. Anyway, I digress. Go ahead. What the hell?
Yeah. No, exactly. They're really not that compelling if you're into it. I mean, it is a moment, but if it's some kind of conjuring, it's some kind of like mass ritual, mass evocation that could be part of it. But then it says it's quoted Representative Lauren Boebert, who said she claims that the declassified files show demons. Quote, secret government UFO files reveal demonic entities known as Nephilim from the Old Testament. So saying that these UFOs are biblical fallen angels, calling them demonic portals. And she was in a video clip of her in a car talking about it, I guess, calling them the fallen angels, Nephilim from the Old Testament, describing them as demonic. And then I also listened to the Rogan of Anna Paulina Luna from last year that she was on. And for some reason in my head, I think I was like conflating her with Diana Pasulka, thinking that she had better ideas than she had. But like, kind of sucks. Like, and then I was looking up after, and she all she referenced is just political stuff, just the most basic political mainstream stuff. And then other than that was just
got to get out there. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, by the way, regarding that. Like, listening to politicians talk about these things, it always devolves into demons. Some
straight up propaganda. Oh,
you're good. You're back. Straight up propaganda is where you came back. You kind of cut where you were talking about Boebert and them and Anna Paulina Luna not being very interesting, the most basic political takes, and then you just came back with that. Sorry about that. I filled in a little bit, so you're good. Welcome back.
Sorry. Yeah, that basically that it was just Book of Enoch. All she was saying was just Book of Enoch stuff, which is cool in one aspect, but she was just conflating it with these things must be angels or these things must be demons, and that was the extent of it. And the Book of Enoch is weird. You should read it. Book of Enoch is weird. I think we're increasing the sales of the Book of Enoch tonight, she's saying on the show and stuff. But then everything else was just straight up propaganda talking points. And then, like, I asked the AI, what other stuff was she into, which involved in? And it's like she, in January 2025, she introduced a bill to put Trump's face on Mount Rushmore. That's the type of person what we're dealing with here. With the that's like, what are you doing? Even if
no, you're good. I hear you. You're right.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. Like toadies, bootlickers, and they will do anything for a political career and say anything about anybody as long as it benefits them. Absolutely.
Yeah. None of it felt genuine. She wrote a Christian kids book called The Legend of Naharanja. That was about the 2020 election fraud and stuff, and the orange that looks exactly like Trump and stuff. It was the weirdest. It's just the weirdest thing. But then she tweeted out the day of the disclosure day of the drop, just a picture of biblically accurate angels with no caption, and then she retweeted her talking about, look at the Book of Enoch. These things are Nephilim, basically. And then but then I looked up that her birthday was May 6th. It was 2 days before this happened. Interesting data for her. Her signature on Wikipedia is just Luna, real big cursive. Luna, no first initial, no anything but Luna. And to me, that's always been really, it's moon, lunar, moon child, moon ritual, lunar goddess type of thing. That's the Apollo missions, shooting the moon, impregnating the moon. There's all moon veneration and stuff. And she didn't change her name to Luna until 2020. I guess it's her grandmother's name or something like that. So after her mother got divorced and stuff.
I was going to mention that too. Is it that's not actually her real name? Why? Yeah.
Ridiculous. So then the AI is like, she tweeted about Ophilim and angels. She tweeted multi-eyed, biblically accurate angels, describing UAP as, quote, actual representation of angels. So basically, everybody's pointing to that star one, that 8-pointed star one, as some kind of like multi-eyed biblically accurate angel thing. Which on one thing is cool to me. Like, let's get weird with it. But another aspect is just it just seems weird. It just seems tough. I cut in real quick, but I got a Spielberg thing on a tie-in. But
yeah, I got that the star thing up on the screen here. Yeah, I mean, all these links are in the description. Please check it out. It is strange, like all of it. Like Luna, I didn't know that, her signature. I did know that was not her real name, but it does seem a wild thing to kind of put into this, as she's like the disclosure advocate, the main one, her and the Tim Burchett guy. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, other than I think that these people are loony. I mean, these people are loony bin, and only because
lunatics, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't mean because they're interested in UFOs. Everybody relax. I don't mean it like that. I mean it like you have to be sort of Looney Tunes once you can operate effectively in Congress. That's just my take. Period. No matter who you are, I don't like any of them. Honestly, like if they say one good thing, you're like, wow, holy crap, they may have like got their mind back, and then they say 10 of the dumbest things you've ever heard after that, and you're like, no, same timeline, nothing's changed.
Exactly. And she's also in charge of all the other disclosure type of stuff, all like the Epstein files, the JFK stuff, everything, the Martin Luther King stuff, everything that's like in the works. It could be coming, like good stuff might be coming, or it's happening. Like, thank God for this administration, because it's finally happening, but nothing's actually happening. She's also in charge of all that kind of stuff. But she's also like an influencer. She was an influencer in 2020, like in Maxim and just a social media, Instagram influencer. And then she got a little political and she started tweeting it at Charlie Kirk, and she got hired by Turning Point and stuff. And then all of a sudden she's in Congress, and now all of a sudden she's rolling out this UFO stuff and everything. I don't know. It just seems, and her name is Luna. And she was accused in the beginning when she got into Congress of witchcraft, that another congressman had to like retract or whatever. But she was saying, people saying that she practices magic and all this type of stuff. And I mean, like, I don't know, it's ritualistic. It's a weird name, kind of moon magic. And then I don't know. So then we have the Disclosure Day happening, and all kind of memes like who's more happier than Steven Spielberg right now? What kind of ad is happening right now? Like 5 weeks before this movie comes out.
It's the Zeitgeist meta ad, just pumping information into the space so everybody buys a ticket to his damn movie.
Yeah, exactly. So then I just had I'm trying to scramble through these notes to make it quick. But so I had it. I wanted to see there's no spoilers in this. We don't know anything. The trailers are real vague. We don't know what the aliens look like. We always see is like Emily Blunt speaking in tongues. She's like being possessed by something pretty much, and it's real creepy and everything. But then there's an article with the writer of the movie. So I have a few quotes from that real quick. So he's saying, I think his name is David Coep. Coep is his last name. He's saying that religion is an important part of Disclosure Day, which just ties into everything we're talking with the huge push of the alien demon aspect of it, or the angel aspect of it, or the biblical aspect of it. Another news story I have in here from yesterday is that just to type it in real quick. Joe Rogan just told his 14 million listeners he's ready to summon orbs on a recent podcast. Joe Rogan described it without a trace of mockery. He said that there's a lot of weird stuff with orbs where people are saying that they can summon them. And then he's like, I want to try it, pretty much. And again, this is like, I like Rogan. I listen to Rogan. I'm skeptical of Rogan because how big he is, but he's the male Oprah. He's the 2026 Oprah for guys. So it's just him saying, summon orbs. Put that into like everybody's mind. That's out there now. It's not just us talking about that anymore now. So that's Stephen Greer. That's Jeremy Corbell's orb summoner friends. Chris Bledsoe and stuff are doing the same kind of thing, calling these things in. There's just weird summoning, invocation, like veneration aspects to it. And then with that article, so saying that the very religion is an important role part of Disclosure Day. And my personal belief, this is the writer of the movie, is the same as my personal belief in God. I was raised Catholic. I know that people are fervent atheists, and I know people who are fervent believers. I've always felt like the only reasonable position is agnostic. It's only to admit, possibly, I don't know. Spielberg saying that there's a lot of great questions of what kind of social and theological disruption would occur. This is a quote from, and such an event was disclosed beyond anyone's reasonable doubt. So he's saying his whole lead up, his whole teasing this thing is like, it could shatter religion. It could shatter the paradigms and stuff. So he's right on board with the passive stuff. But then the writer is also saying, yes, other intelligent life forms exist. Yes, they've been here. They may even be here. We just can't perceive them. I think that the visual spectrum is a very narrow thing, and we know we know that so much exists outside it, right? The things we can hear, the audio spectrum is narrow. Tons of sounds exist outside it. They're just our biological senses, right? But they're all things we've invented to sense things. All of our modern technology. Why don't we believe that also has a narrow spectrum and things might exist outside of it? Why should we trust our devices more than we trust the possibility that things exist that we can't perceive? And he believes that that's the agnostic take. That like we know our perception is limited. The stuff that exists, like infrared, microwave stuff, things we can't perceive outside of our spectrum. We invented technology to kind of amplify that, be more outside of our spectrum. But what's to say we know that that's limited too. So now that's all the Tic Tac stuff is, and the 2017 stuff is that they were seeing it in infrared. Once the infrared technology came up, so he's basically talking about ultra terrestrials, basically things outside our perception that are around us at all times. And then the article talks about Emily Blunt as a conduit. She becomes some sort of conduit for the alien visitors, uttering unearthly clicks like during a live television broadcast. It shows ordinary people behaving strangely. Yada yada. Spielberg's like, there's more truth and fiction of this movie. And then basically, like, I asked what the writer of this movie also did, and he did War of the Worlds. He did like Crystal Skull, which is the Indiana Jones movie with aliens. And he's saying we're not from the aliens. Spoiler alert for the end of that movie that nobody likes. The aliens are like, or the person channeling the aliens, possessed by the aliens at that moment. Crazy guy. Oh, damn it.
That's me. That's me. That was me. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I actually clicked the thing and it clicked the thing and it had an audio track. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was getting nervous, man. Yeah. So he's basically, we're not from space, the aliens. We're from the space between spaces. And this big flying saucer was conjured up from an ancient stone temple and then disappeared into reality. This was in 2009 or whatever it was, 2007. And then he wrote a bunch of other demon movies and stuff. This is what's going on with the disclosure date that's happening in 5 weeks. Appeared completely with this. Yeah. And then we talked about Spielberg before. By basically putting like everything about Spielberg, like that we talked about him being a huge, like he made like 12 to 15 different UFO alien projects between him directing it and producing it. Nobody's a bigger UFO person in the zeitgeist than him. Like Men in Black, everything involving UFOs since ET came out, he's at least been executive producer on it. But I chucked in all that stuff we talked about already into the AI and asked them to give me a breakdown, which I don't have time to read, but it basically laid out that like pre-1977, the aliens were just just a threat, basically a metaphor for nukes, pretty much. They were just a threat scenario. Everything was just coming for us. There's threats. It's Russia. It's communists. It's the outsiders and stuff. And then once Spielberg got involved, post Spielberg, it became these things were like angelic or I'm looking at I might be having a UFO experience right now. There's some weird blue light outside my car right now as I'm talking about this, live on the air. I'm going to hang up the phone and try to take a picture of it. Can you hear me? Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Please do that.
It's like on the ground. It's on the ground, so I can't tell what's. Oh, it's gone. There was like a golf ball sized blue light up here next to a car of my coworker. There's me and 2 other cars in the parking lot outside the closed supermarket. It appeared for a moment and vanished. I'm going to look at it when I get out. That was weird. But basically, sorry, that was weird. Jesus. So basically, pre-Spielberg, threats, nuke analogy, just sometimes human is, or like green figures or whatever, they were just a threat, nukes, Russians. Post-Spielberg, angels. This is something good. You can evoke these things. It used the phrase LARPing. It's a Close Encounters is basically UFO LARPing. Like, let's just like imagine these things are great. And basically the inside of a UFO beforehand. There was a bunny running over to that spot where it just was. All right, and then basically saying that like before being inside of a UFO, or the idea of a UFO was like the abyss before Spielberg, and then post Spielberg it became a religious experience. And now all this roll into one. I feel like nothing's really happened yet, but we could be dealing with something crazy. At the very least, we're dealing with a mass ritual. Sorry that was so rambly. Sorry for the But
that's okay.
What the hell's going on?
Hey, go get a picture. Go get a picture of what the hell happened over there. We want to know. We want to know. Be safe, man. Be safe. No, you're fine.
Right, sorry.
Appreciate the call. You're the best. You know me, love Derek the Night Stalker. 702-857-6939. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Good vibes out there that Derek doesn't get abducted. And I'm only half joking about that. More on the way. Look, I don't know. Disclosure? Has it happened? Is it going to happen? What do you expect? Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. See you in just a moment. Thank you for being patient. Daryl and Ricky and more from James when we come back.
This is Troubled Minds. Your host, Michael Strange, the master of the mysterious, is here to guide you through the shadows of the unexplained.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. All the places, all the things, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Disclosure Day. Time to pursue the truth. Now, there's a website that was just released by the Department of War, and it is called Pursue. And if you don't believe me, here it is. I got the receipts. By the way, I usually have the receipts about the things I'm talking about, so links are in the description down below. But Pursue stands for Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP Encounters. That's right, PURSUE. All right. Anyway, what do you know? Has disclosure happened? Is it about to happen? Are we in progress, in process? Or do you think this is just a bunch of nonsense? 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Anything to add, James? And we'll add Daryl in here as you got a quick comment if you got one.
Just fascinating that Derek saw blue light. Whatever it was, because that's what I saw several days in a row in 1 week, actually, years ago. So anyway, that's it for now.
Amen. Good vibes for our friend Derek out there. Daryl in, I almost said Massachusetts. Daryl in New York. You're on Troubled Minds. How are you tonight? Go right ahead. Test 1 2. I hear you not. Daryl in New York. Test 1 2. Nothing. She does a karaoke.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Can you hear me? I have to use a mic, but that's okay? You can hear me okay with the mic?
Yes. So I'm coming through again, so go ahead.
Fantastic. Okay. That's great. Great calls. Great show. This is exciting stuff, I feel, But I want to just say, I'm a little disappointed. I'm very disappointed of what they released. It's like, they didn't release their best stuff, and it's like we've seen better, I watch better stuff on Third Phase of the Moon, You ever watch Third Phase of the Moon videos? I did. Yeah, that's like so much better. Why don't they show that kind of stuff, This is like the those little dots of light that you see from an aircraft. Like, we've seen that like so many times, and now that we can see that the military has that, we can assume that the stuff we've seen on amateur stuff is not a hoax, Like, we don't know if it's CGI, we don't know if it's a hoax, or if they enhanced it or something. But we've seen weird stuff. Now, if they have weird stuff, if that's some kind of mechanism they can use to maybe spy on us, they have like nano things that are smaller than that we can't see necessarily, or that just could be the size of bugs. Maybe they have that technology already, but are they disclosing the technology they have? Is that the stuff they have? I don't see much, of what they released so far that was like earth-shattering or good quality. We have better quality stuff on the amateur circuit, Just saying, Well
said. If you want me to respond, mute up.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure if she muted. Test. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Just so you know, if you want me to respond, mute, and then I will respond and then come back so we don't get the talk back. Go ahead.
I get it. Okay, I have to have my side-by-side windows here. I was going to just say something about what I've heard today. I was listening to somebody they've discovered a lot of like bodies that were buried, let's say somewhere in South America, that were just deliberately or purposely buried, and they were signs that was a human sacrifice. I don't know why I'm bringing this up, not changing the subject exactly, but it's kind of related. That maybe in the past, why did we have human sacrifices? It was to sacrifice to the gods. They liked blood. They would do these bloody sacrifices in, subcultures. And they wanted to sacrifice to the gods to make the gods come back or whatever. And you think about like all the suicide cults. Also, they were discussing like how they have, Heaven's Gate, where they all killed themselves for a cult leader. And is this some sort of like agenda? And there were like 20,000 people sacrificed to, they were talking about the numbers of people that they sacrificed. Is there some purpose for this sacrificing of humans that gives them some sort of power? Why, or was it a misunderstanding that they thought, I don't know where they would get the idea that if you sacrifice a person, a god will return? Who gave them that idea? Unless it was, maybe they were there. And it was they were so devoted to these gods that they were even willing to sacrifice themselves. Like they would go willingly, to give up their own lives. It wasn't even like, they didn't have to push them too hard. Even the people at Heaven's Gate probably willingly, obviously, I think they willingly did this because they believed it was okay, it was good. So I'm just wondering if this is some part of, there'll be some sort of like propaganda about this kind of like mission that is for the greater good of the earth. We have to, give ourselves to the alien god or something like that. It'll be another way to get people to submit to some kind of, some kind of ritual that might, not be good for us, let's say. Anyway, I'll let you speak. Let me mute.
Thank you. Yeah, well said. And I think, I talk about the appeal to authority a lot. The fact that you can say, Avi Loeb, a Harvard astrophysicist, a tenured professor, has said this, and then that is the basis for your argument. You're citing this guy. Not to say he's right or he's wrong, but in this case, what you're describing comes to my mind as invoking sort of a cosmic authority, right? Like the appeal to a cosmic authority in the sense that we are not just being controlled in some way, but also expected to sacrifice ourselves and our loved ones for whatever that authority is. Wild. And I never thought of it that way, kind of linking human sacrifice to the space, but it certainly is the idea that some people suggest gods are aliens and aliens are gods. And again, not to mix the peas and the carrots too much to make everybody mad, but you get what I mean. Depending on interpretation, the ancient astronaut theory suggests they're not gods at all. They're flesh and blood aliens. So what does that look like? And if that actual sacrificial bit comes in, maybe, just maybe, this is deeper and darker than we ever dreamed. Well said on all that.
Yeah, it definitely, it was very enlightening, the things I was, listening to, etc. And they've used religion in the past. It's not the first time religion has been used to influence people and control people. And if, religion is like, it's temporary, it seems, because we've had different gods of different times. And then, I don't know, for some reason we decided to make one guy, really more important than anybody before him. So, we even started a calendar on his birthday or whatever day it was. We started counting our years from the day, before Christ, after Christ. That's how the whole world, bases their dating system on that. The official dating, we put it on our checks, So, but who was before him and how powerful was that? And why was it so important to make everybody believe in one person? Why were there the Crusaders? Why was there so much wars about this kind of, you have to believe what we believe. We have to all make the whole country is the church. And I don't know. And now even the Vatican is questioning the existence of aliens. So you have to wonder, how devout are they? And, depending on who you listen to, is Jesus on another planet? And then they say, oh, yeah, Jesus went to all the planets. Basically, I've heard that theory, depending on what you believe and who's on the other planets. Okay, I'm going to mute, so go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one. I have heard Jesus in North America. That's a whole different thing for a whole different time. But hey, I guess if that's possibly the case, look, I'm not making fun and picking like directly. That's just what I've heard regarding that space. Okay, and I don't believe any of it. Honestly, I just don't. I'm again not a antagonist in terms of religion, but call me a massive skeptic because I recognize the control that's baked into it. Okay, so don't, like I said, believe what you want to believe. If you don't like me for that, sorry. It's just I sniffed it out when I was like 5 and was like, I don't think this is the right thing we should be doing. It freaks me out, and it still freaks me out a little bit, to be perfectly honest. Like you guys couldn't tell if you've been listening to me for any amount of time. Anyway, back to Daryl. Sorry.
So, we had all this disclosure stuff. Oh, I was listening to the Secure Team. You ever listen to Secure Team? I've been following him for a long time. You don't have to answer this second, but I've been following Secure Team for a long time. He's got plenty of followers. He took a hiatus. He's back and had a very interesting, I posted it in the chat, in the show chat, the very interesting take on why the scientists are missing, about, the disclosure thing and our missions to the moon, and why, how they're connected and how this is being taken seriously. And maybe there's something they don't want us to know about the moon, or maybe there's something that they don't want us to see. Maybe they were about to disclose something that they didn't want disclosed yet. Maybe their technology, they want us to think it's something else, And what was life like? I'm just thinking randomly of all these things. Like, what was life like, let's say, when we had free energy, when we didn't have jobs? How good was it for how long? And then when did that fall apart? And when did they decide we're going to start over and make everybody work and make them pay? And, I'm just wondering, like, is this just going to be another reset when things go wrong? Is this just another distraction from something bigger, as we always say? Anyway, I'll give it back to you.
Yeah, you're the best. I don't know. I think these are good questions to ask of ourselves and of our belief systems. And again, how we deal with our neighbors and just what it means to be human. I think this is all very good stuff. And that's the point we have these conversations and kind of let them free flow and meander a little bit. That's the point. Because you can't just tightly keep a rein on it and be like, aliens only. Look, I know we got in a little bit of politics tonight, barely. But still, I mean, this stuff plays and it is real in our world. And I don't know. Be skeptical. Be skeptical. Being a skeptic in a lot of ways will save your ass from joining some bizarre cult someday. I promise you that. Daryl, go ahead.
Well, I think that's it for me. I just had a couple of things to mention. When you go into a convent, do you have to make a non-disclosure agreement? Just saying. Thank you. That's it for today. Thank you, Mike. Great show.
You're the best. Daryl in New York, you love her. A non-disclosure agreement. I've never heard that one, and I enjoy it. Sorry it wasn't a little louder, and sorry for the weirdness of the echo there. Yeah, a lot of great points. And like I said, I think we should be, keep your mind open, but not so open that your brain falls out. Okay, this has been said by many people. Art Bell also said this. It's true. Keep an open mind, but not so open that your brain falls out. It causes problems, and it leads to UFO cults and other cults, all the cults. It leads to all the cults, okay? The second they tell you to eschew your family for a larger cause, you should probably be like, wait, hold up. What do you, like my family? Like those people, the people that I love that raised me, like those people? James, anything to add? We'll go to Ricky, and then I think Kelly's on the line. We'll make time for you, Kelly, so hang tight.
No, just great call so far as always, and I think I said everything I have for now.
You're the best. James, the glue of the show. Brevity when necessary, but otherwise filling time because he's the man. All the timing, all the things. James is the best. 702-857-6939. Speaking of the best, let's go to the other best. What's up, Ricky? Anything is possible. How you doing, brother? Thanks for holding it down on Sunday nights and sending the crew over to Rumble. Appreciate that very much. How are you, and how do you feel about disclosure? You feel different, or do you feel the same?
I'm good. I'm glad to be able to call in tonight. I haven't been able to do it in a while, and yeah, no problem on the rating. I like Rumble and the rating. That's kind of cool. Gives new people an opportunity to see shows they might not click on, So, yeah, we it's kind of funny that James and I were talking about this before on our show. Right before this one, so it was kind of fresh. I actually played the 30-minute video of all the stuff kind of tied, and somebody made a video where they tied all the videos from the release all together, so you just stream them one at a time, all together, and we kind of commented on it. It's like it's kind of funny seeing all the redacted areas where it's kind of areas blacked out, which, a lot of it, you can tell that's, it's time and maybe the place, something like, but I mean, we've seen other videos that didn't have that stuff redacted. They showed it on the news and stuff, like the TikTok video and the gimbal and wow, this redacted, and then other stuff, like showing the buildings and stuff. I'm like, why are they redacting this little corner over here? It don't make sense, because it's like there's somebody that's there's a lot of people that's really good, able to take this building on a map on Google Maps and then turn around or whatever and find exactly where it is within like a couple hours or something, there, and see what's in the hidden spot. I'm sure somebody's probably already done it. I haven't seen it yet, but it don't make sense, all the redacted stuff, and it is kind of like Daryl was saying, it's not a whole lot of a lot of stuff that they put out, with the the Nazis had the technology, the UFO technology, whatever, on that for umpteen years. That's they really didn't release anything that's mind blowing, or of course there's more on the way. They're gonna trickle it along, but it's none of it. I mean, and they put it out really fast, but it is a lot of it's redacted, and for what, Yeah,
100%. And the redactions on these videos, the gun camera videos, as they're known, John Greenwald Jr. was stating earlier, I think it was yesterday, on his X account. If you don't follow him, you should, at the Black Vault, I believe, on links in the description. Go follow him, because he's been doing FOIA stuff forever on UFOs and getting these documents. And he was saying that two things. One, many of these documents have been released previously, and he's got them in his archive. So if you're actually interested in UFO documents, go follow that man and just check out his literally almost 3 million documents now that he's coaxed out of the government through legal channels by paying the fees and getting the things and answering the questions. And the second thing is, he said they told him when he filed an appeal that they didn't have the technology to censor gun camera footage like this. And then now here they release all these ones with the censored stuff, the telemetry and the bearings and the speeds and and then they did first they tell them, oh no, we don't even have that technology. I mean, which is the most facepalm stupid thing you could ever say, because you just take the video clip and then you put black boxes on it, and then you release the video clip with the black boxes on it. That's the technology, and we've been doing that since like 1982, since video was invented. I mean, like I said, some of the dumbest stuff you've ever heard comes out of the government, and here we are trying to parse telemetry readings that are non-existent because they've censored them for various reasons, and it's frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, we could give the videos to an 8-year-old probably, and he could do the same things with the little black box around, and you just Canva. All you need is Canva, and you can do all this, but yeah, that don't make sense. And the other thing that I've noticed a lot, of course, James and I were talking about, like, there's so many people are coming out right now, especially with this film and stuff coming out. And of course, I know you talked about it too, JD was even, and so many others talking about demons, and everything's demons, and like, no matter what, it's like demons or aliens, and man, it's like, come on, not everything paranormal or mystical or anything, not everything's demons. Not everything, we're not everything you can put in a box. You can't like, okay, all this right here fits right here, And even with, ancient, astronaut theory, you're putting everything in a box. Like, well, everything, no matter what, it was aliens, guaranteed, like Giorgio likes to say it all the time. It's not. And like, it's E, all the above. It really is. I mean, James talks about this all the time. And it's like, why does it have to be this? Why does it have to be this? It can't be, there's a lot of stuff's going to be multiple answers and stuff. And so, they're putting everything, some of these of course, some of them, getting paid, I'm sure, to talk about this and put it out there at this twisted and this kind of narrative. And there's other people just, that's the easy thing, I think, that's for them to say, and which me personally, I do believe that, there's things out there. I mean, we've been seeing things for thousands of years, pictographs and stuff beside each other. You got antelope and deer and, animals, and then you got spaceman right there, so there's things that they've been seeing for years and years and years. There's no doubt that's been here. And so for whatever reason, there's a big cover up. There's for a reason that, they're covering up giants and stuff. Anytime they find a skeleton, that thing disappears quicker than, than your wheels downtown Memphis, but
or downtown Vegas.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Yeah,
Memphis is back to number one most dangerous city again. I'm proud of them again.
Stay the hell out of downtown, bro. Real quick too on the Giants thing. So there were a bunch of old articles, right? Like the newspaper articles where they had pictures of these things, and we've talked about this before. And that becomes the question, right? So are people faking this stuff, or are they finding these things and these things disappear? And look, I know it's case by case, and you can't make a blanket statement about any of those things because it's as usual. We know information gets covered up. Okay, it just does. But by whom and when, and does it deservedly so? Because meaning hoaxers, right? Hoaxers. And shout out, I want to say this to Daryl real quick too. Both, and I know this for a fact, if you want me to produce receipts on this, but both Third Phase of Moon and Secure Team have been caught posting fake UFO videos too. So not to malign their entire catalog and all things they've ever done, but I know for a fact they've been caught posting fake stuff. So, at some point, like the credibility really means something. And that's why this is important. And like I said, why it's important to talk about these ideas outside of the space of, oh, I know what's going on and here's my theory. And that's the only way or the only thing. Okay. Like it's that's the way this is. It's important to be able to just say, look, I see what I see. Here's what I think. What do you think? And then regardless of how weird and wild you want to get with these ideas, in my opinion, that credibility stays intact because you're not telling everybody, like you're saying there, Ricky, it's all demons all the time. All demons all the time, right? Like, I mean, maybe, but my intuition kind of tells me no.
Yeah, like anything is possible, but we turn around but I think it's, we've always heard so many stories about different types of shapes and the grays and the tall whites and all this. So some of them could be demons. Yes, absolutely. Could some of them be angels? Yeah, I believe so. Do I believe both of those are real? Yeah. But I think that other ones, there's also other things also out there, and for sure there's a cover up. Absolutely. For sure. The Smithsonian, for whatever reason, wants to cover so much stuff up. I imagine it's multiple reasons for, nothing is just, this is it, check it this one box and it fills all. But, it's like, I always like to throw out the Alaskan Boneyard up there, and the guy that owned it, he was trying to get his, tusks and stuff back from them. They're, well, we lost them. And he found they were in the Hudson River, where they dumped them in the Hudson River, try to get rid of them because they didn't fit in their narrative of what should be there in Alaska and the time frame. None of it made sense to them. So if it don't fit our little box, go, and that's sadly, we've seen a lot of archaeology and a lot of the mainstream kind of things. If it don't fit in that little box, we see that in Egypt. If it don't fit in this little box, it don't fit in this 6,000 year, 5,000 year, whatever, then, throw it out. And for sure, we know lots of sites are older. So why we have to put everything cram in this little small spot? I don't know. It's, there's a trying to manipulate our information, and there's agenda to make sure, we don't, I really think we're not finding the real truth, and have so much stuff. Like you said, there's people already that I've seen stuff already where they're posting these videos of what has been sent out, by the government on this first batch. And then people posting fake stuff. I'm like, why are you posting fake stuff? Come on, like if this is what you really want, if you want that disclosure, you want to find the good information, you want to bring stuff out here that, to find the facts and to help people find the facts so everybody know, why are you throwing side stuff to make people doubt everything? Because if you put one misconception or one falsehood out, there's going to be people going, what's all BS, all of it, all the way across the board, no matter what you have to prove, because this one was false, they're going to throw everything out in their mind, and they're just doing a disservice, which I did see Stephen Greer was kind of been talking. I see he had a press conference on the day later that evening. I get to listen to some of it, and then I fell asleep, I won't lie, but he's kind of in the boat of, this is kind of a cover up. This ain't a real disclosure. He's kind of pushing that narrative right now for whatever reason. But I don't know. I know some people like him, some people don't. Tomato. Sometimes I don't know some of it.
I don't trust any of them. Like that's my take. Look, as far as if you're like a talking head in the UFO space that gets all the traction, all the clicks, I see you as a politician. I don't trust you at all. And so, like I get that some are going to be more credible than others, but the things they say and the things they claim, I've said it before on the show, and I'll continue to say it. Like it's not what we do. We could go all Stephen Cambian and just be like, look at all the plot holes and the nonsense these people are saying, and make that the whole show. But that's far less fascinating to me than talking about possibilities and what if the maybe is true, the maybe juice. And so let's talk about it, because like I said, there's something here for sure in the cover up, but what is it? That becomes the real question. What else you got, my man?
That's about it, really. I mean, yeah, I absolutely agree. There's something here. Like I said, there's something to the aliens and different things. I think some of them have been here a long time. They could be, they're always, because just our oral history and the things that are written down. We found cities underground, so it could be stuff underground. Could be stuff, lots of underwater. Any of that is very, very possible and it's probably all of the above. It really is all. There's aliens there. Maybe moon. Who knows? But hopefully, I'm hoping we do have a good information and we actually find out the truth. It's no reason to hide all this stuff. I'm sure there's a few people, going to freak out and oh my God, and run around in a circle and run into a wall or something because they find this out. But most people, I think we can come out with some good information and stuff. But hopefully, I like you were saying earlier about 4th of July. I said that several times. That'd be a perfect TV movie moment right there. For to actually throw it right there to 4th of July. Partake in the movies and everything else. But I do think they're going to something kind of. We will see something for sure by the end of the summer, before the midterms. Well, that'll be the only political side I hit on, but yeah, before midterms, we'll see something.
Today we celebrate our Independence Day. You're the best, Ricky. You're the best. Yeah, look, I don't know. I think it's interesting. The Summer of Saucers, like I said, is going to be an accelerant this year, not just because of course, the political space, but because we have that the 250-year anniversary. It's going to be a power moment, and everybody's going to be fixated on it, not just here, but also globally. So I don't know. Interesting stuff. And let's keep dreaming. Let's keep thinking. Let's keep. Don't be fooled by the next shiny object that comes flying by. But before you go, let me put one more shiny object flying by on the screen. There we go. Whatever that shiny object is right there, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Ricky, you were the best. I appreciate the call. Thanks for staying up late with us tonight, and you were amazing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you very much. We love him. Ricky, Anything is Possible is the name of the podcast and the radio show and all the things he does. Please go follow him. Please go hang out with him. Links are in the description, troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down. It says follow Ricky. He's got a whole link tree there, and you can check out all the work he's doing. He does a paranormal style show with James on Sunday nights. just before this show, by the way. So it's 2 hours before this show, and then we have the 2 hours of Troubled Minds. So like to get your paranormal rocks off, whatever you want to call it, the 4 hour block is about as fantastic as you can get with really great people talking about amazing things. Anything to add, James? And I think we got Kelly. I think it's Kelly. He's in the Discord here, but he's on the phone line too. Anything to add real quick? And Kelly, you got as much time as you need. Thanks for being patient, my man. James, what you got?
Oh, just I think all this, what is scary to me about all this is the way that it seems like people out there are trying to use religions as tools to get things that they want, whether it's power, money, attention, I don't know. But that's to me and all this, it seems to be so obvious right now with everything going on, all the stuff with the pastors and all that, like we're talking about on Thursday. And it's so sad to me because it doesn't need to be that way. But anyway, that's all I have for now.
Amen. And many things do not. And there are many people that would tell you anything. Look at politics, tell you anything for higher levels of control and success for themselves. It's horrible. And that goes for the UFO world too. There's a lot of people that just flat out make stuff up. It obfuscates the problem and the solution. And as Ricky said very smartly, if they're interested in the game, why are they clouding the game up? It's awful. I'd love to hear your thoughts. 702-857-6939. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. I think it's Kelly. If you're there on the phone line, or if you're not, let me click the things. Whoever was there has been there for some time. You're on Troubled Minds. Test. Are we there? The phone line is up. I'm connected to somebody. Is it Kelly? Test 1 2. I'm not sure. Whoever's on the line, I'm gonna leave it there just in case, because I don't know. I'm disconnecting, reconnecting. Maybe it's my internet. Hang tight. I'm getting a message on YouTube that's saying, "Hold on, we're reconnecting."
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Test 1 2.
That's not good.
Phone line, are you there? I think it's Kelly. I don't know. Let me check the area code. Anyway, yeah, okay. It's this, like I said, this is something we'll keep an eye on as we go. It's frustrating. It's highly polarizing. Like Derek was saying too. The wild part about it is he's talking to his movie group there on Facebook or whatever, and they're like, "What are you talking about? What UFO day? Like, what are you even talking about?" So maybe us giving it attention is the worst thing. Like, I don't know. As usual, right? You got to kind of ask yourself the question about some of the stories, the possible phony stories that really perpetuate the zeitgeist and the news cycles. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. It's complicated, and I think it's worthy of discussion. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be talking about it. It is the biggest question of the modern space. One of them, anyway. Top 5, top 3, like I always say. Are we alone in the universe, or nah? And I don't know. Kelly, is that you on the phone line? Who's on the phone line? Go ahead. Good.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
In the chat, Kelly says it's not him.
Oh, it's not you. Okay, somebody's on the damn line. Would that be? Who would that be? Hold on. Let me check. Anyway, so you get the idea. Like, you know me. I think it's important to talk about these things. I think it's important to think about these things, if only from the idea space of somebody's trying to fool you, right? Somebody's actually trying to fool you. Let's see. What is this? I think it's Jay in Arizona. Test, you're on Troubled Minds. 1, 2, 3. Are you there? Nope. Yes, Jay in Arizona. All right, I'm going to add that. Hopefully it'll save it so I know next time that it's him. Okay. Anyway, yeah, look, this is tough. It's tough. It's tough when you have people making claims about information spaces that are incomplete. Okay. It's tough. Shout out Eric in the chat there. We'll do it. We got a giant show coming up eventually here. Speaking of giants, he says there's a ton of giant lore in Ohio. It's like right where he lives, an hour or so where he lives. I got a powder keg level show on that. We'll talk about that, but put that in your back pocket. I'm not sure when we'll get to it, but there's a lot of claims out there being made by a lot of people, and it's interesting to kind of parse these ideas and wonder how much of this is true, because sometimes the claim is so bombastic that even if like a slice of it is true, it changes everything. But then also in the same mind space, if a slice of it is true and let's say 80% of it is not, then why are they telling you a tall tale when they could have just told you the slice of truth? You see? So we have sort of an information paradox happening in our mind space when it comes to anomalous things. And that's what this is all about. Let's talk about it. Let's think about it. What has happened to you? Like I said, many people here are experiencers, have seen things they can't explain, can't describe, don't want to, have never, probably will live their whole life without actually coming to terms or grips with what happened to them in a previous space, a previous temporal space. And I don't know. And shout out our friend Derek, the Night Stalker. Like he saw the blue light. He saw a bunny run over to check out whatever it was. So there's something going on over there. I mean, these things do happen. And not to say it isn't prosaic. Of course, many things are. Most things are probably going to be. But also, by the way, many things are so mind-numbing and mind-blowing that it changes the way you see the world forever. And imagine the way our ancients, our ancestors, actually saw these things. That's the point. Anything else, James? And we'll wrap this up.
There's, what you're talking about there with how much of any the claims in one area are exaggerated or true or not, whatever. It's so amazing to me because there's everywhere you look at. If you dig deep enough, you can find claims about all kinds of anomalous things. But then you have these really famous hotspots. I mentioned to Ricky in his show tonight earlier that as much as it's popular now, and there's reality shows about it, and but there's also been, we talked before about how there's been claims that a lot of it's made up, but the whole Skinwalker Ranch thing, to me, based on experiences I've read about, not connected with the people that owned it or worked there or did scientific stuff there, there's enough other reports of activity around there that I can't say that there's nothing there. And Ohio as well, very much a high strangeness area, ghosts. I wasn't aware of the giants, but cryptids, Bigfoot, all that. Ohio is supposedly a very strange area as well. But it's one state in the U.S. And I can tell you dig deep enough, you can find strange stuff going on, at least reportedly going on in every state in the U.S. and around the world. And that's it I think I have for now.
You are the best. Absolutely. And that's the point of this. Like I said before, too, look, kind of going around rural Nevada, seeing some other places I haven't seen. There's some wild things out there in your own backyard. So if you're like, you know what? I really want to go to ancient Egypt one day. Maybe. I mean, not ancient, not time travel, but, kind of go look at the pyramids and the Sphinx and stuff. Just pull up like the travel guide and look in your own area. And you might be shocked what's within like an hour or 2 hour drive from where you're at. I've got some wild things down here in southern Nevada. Wild things. Look up the early man site. Yeah, if you want to see how wild things get. Anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for caring about the conversations. Please follow James, SalcedoParanormal.com. Thank you, Sweets, for posting in all the places. Salcedo, SALSIDO, Paranormal.com. Thanks for bearing with the conversations, guys. Look, I know they meander. That's the whole point. The whole point is that we don't keep everything completely structured where if you go off the beaten path for just a second, I kick you off the show. Let's talk about it. This is our reality that we live in, and if we don't think about it and talk about it together, what are we even doing? I don't know. Meaning, let's keep an eye on it. Let's wonder what the hell's actually happening in a larger space and think that maybe, just maybe, there are things happening that are unquantifiable, as I've said before. I think it's important. We've got thousands of years of history talking about these ideas and literally coming back to many of the same conclusions. Is that a coincidence? Maybe. Also, maybe not. You decide. If you want to help Troubled Minds, help us out. Help the friends. TroubledMinds.org/friends, or go to the website, click on the friends link, and just scroll down. It's very easy. There you go. Click the friends. All the friends there. Oops. Let me get that thing off the... Get that damn thing off the screen. There you go. All the friends there, okay? And if you should be on that list, you should be. It's an in list, not an out list. I'm not gatekeeping anything. Just help us. Help us one iota. Spread the word. Let people know a conversation is happening. Repost us on social media. Whatever it is, right? Help us in the chat by moderating. Do whatever. If you want to help and you want to share whatever you're working on, even if it's just a social media platform, that's cool. Let me know. Hit me up on Discord, TroubledMinds.org. Click the Discord link, blue button on top. Send me an email, troubledmindsradio@gmail.com. Come be part of it. I mean, you're already here and it's already late. You already burned 2 hours of your life hanging out with us. So, I mean, why not? Let's get you on this list. If you want to help us directly, spread the word. Let people know what conversation is happening. Where, look, even though tonight we meandered into politics a little bit, it's not the main theme. We're not going to talk about this night after night, and we're not going to tell you who to vote for. That's not what this has ever been about. That's not what this will ever be about. Okay? It's pointing out the inconsistencies of reality in the face of people telling us otherwise. That's it. Very simple. If you want to help us directly, like I said, spread the word. Let people know. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific. And if you want to help us with a little bit of scratch, troubledfans.com. It is a play on OnlyFans, but you will not find Michael Strange in a hot tub. You will find the hottest Troubled Minds merch around. Troubledfans.com. Hats, shirts, whatever. Beanies, coffee cups, maybe juice mugs. You name it, it's all there. That's it. This one goes out to all our friends and all the places that wonder about what's true and what is not. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night.